Now, Gifford shows why he became the all-time Giant ground gainer. After blocks by Desson Brown, stylish striding Giff goes 78 yards.
For nearly half a century, the history of the NFL and the life of Frank Gifford were intertwined. And while today's viewers remember his many seasons as the rock-steady anchor of Monday Night Football, it was as a player that he first stepped into the spotlight. The Giants' number 16 was the leading man in pro football's most glamorous franchise. But success for this superstar was never easy. And his journey to the Hall of Fame still amazes even him.
Was there some little voice inside of you that said something that pushed you forward?
I think my little voice said, "What the hell are you doing here? How'd you get here? You dog, you should." I was a Depression baby in the 30s. My father was out of work more than he was in work. We lived in 47 different towns, according to my mother's Bible. Well, that wasn't hard because some days we'd moved twice. And Dad was looking for work. He was a roughneck in the oil fields. There were many times that we slept in the truck. One time I donated some money to the poor for Christmas time at the church that my mother and father took us to, and the next morning, sure enough, we got a box on our porch, and I realized who we really were.
In high school, Frank finally found his home on a football field.
You asked me earlier about people who had influenced me. It was my high school coach.
What was his name, Frank?
Homer Beatty. He never got off my back. Made me believe in myself. I was majoring in woodshop and flunking that. And he came to me when I was going into my junior year and said, "Look, you can be different. You don't have to be somebody who goes into the oil fields." He was the difference in my life.
Motivated by Homer Beatty, Gifford gained a scholarship to the University of Southern California. There, he played both offense and defense and was named All-American his senior year. To help pay the bills, he worked part-time as a movie actor. So when the Giants made him their #1 draft pick, that media spotlight was a little too bright for his new teammates.
Do you have any rookie hazing or anything like that? Was there anything?
Well, yeah, I was from California and suspect.
Anyone who came from California was...
Well, I mean, they didn't know whether you're a little light on your feet or what. I mean, we had a bunch of Southerners who were playing, a bunch of military guys who had come out of the war, and these are guys who had shot and killed people. And here I come in, and I was #1 draft pick, and I was married to a beauty queen, and on the cover of all these magazines, and yeah, they didn't like me at all. But I set out really to win the respect of the guys I cared about. And I think one of the proudest things I am about my career in pro football was gaining the respect of the players, and those players, many of them are still my friends today.
Gifford earned the respect of his teammates by performing as one of the game's most complete players.
The #1 draft pick intercepts Graham, and watch him go for 55 yards.
In his 12 seasons, Gifford went to the Pro Bowl 7 times at 3 different positions: defensive back, halfback, and wide receiver. Working with Vince Lombardi, the Giants' offensive coach, Gifford harnessed his versatility to perfect the halfback option.
Gifford leaps and crossfires a touchdown pass to Bob Schnelker.
It was a play that would help him earn league MVP in 1956, as he led the team to the NFL championship.
What's the football moment that you're least likely to forget?
What I think I remember most are the relationships that grew out of the game. The relationship I had with Vince Lombardi. He was a very loving, compassionate, spiritual man who I went to see right before we lost him. And it was in one of the most difficult moments of my life, because there was my man, and I knew he wasn't going to be with us very long. And here was this man that was so strong and so tough, and he said, "God, it hurts, Frank." And wow, that hurt.
In 1960, Gifford faced his own crisis when a hit by the Eagles' Chuck Bednarik knocked him out of the game for a year.
It was a nightmare for me because I really honestly felt I just had kind of given up on myself. And it boiled down to whether or not I think they were going to keep me. And I'd never been in that situation in my life. But you know, it was sort of like, look, you've never given up on anything before. I don't give up on this. And I didn't.
In 1962, Gifford was named Comeback Player of the Year and, with the team, won 2 consecutive conference titles before his final game.
I have one of my favorite pictures, Why Tittle and me, and we both knew it was our last game. And I distinctly remember Why saying to me, I'm really going to miss this. And I remember thinking to myself, well, I'm going to miss this too. There is such a feeling of togetherness, whether you win or whether you lose. I mean, it's just hard to imagine how many people go through life have never known that. Total focus on a purpose. And that's what I love about the game that's been so good to me. It brings out the best in people.
Recently, at a private ceremony, Frank received a final and fitting honor when Wellington Mara retired number 16. In doing so, the father of the Giants family took pride in what made Gifford truly great.
Loyalty, honesty, courage. Frank Gifford was the son any father would love to have, and the father any son would be proud to have.
And I was awed by it because I had not expected it. And I was thrilled by it too because my son was there, Cody. And my son Kyle was also there. And it was a very important moment for them as well as me. There was no feeling ever quite like it.